This monster was very tall, but he never harmed people or animals. His only dream was to accompany his mother. However, because he was a monster, the villagers constantly bullied him. Although Mike hated this, he would never kill anyone. He was like a child, crying and begging his mother for help, running while shouting for mercy. Mike was a half-human, half-monster creature, and he was actually very pitiful. His father was a kind earth monster, and the earth monster fell in love with Mike's mother, so they had Mike. But Mike's father had to leave for something, and after he left, he never came back. Mike and his mother lived in a piece of farmland far from the village. This land had been left by Mike's father, and it had always been used to grow medicinal herbs. So, Mike and his mother continued to manage it. However, one day, a girl's death changed Mike's peaceful life. The villagers thought it was Mike's monster nature that had killed the girl, and they planned to kill him. But just then, the villagers encountered Jack, who was also a half-monster. The villagers had accidentally been exposed to toxic gas during a battle, so they needed to go to the medicinal herb field to gather herbs. The villagers claimed that Mike's field had herbs, but that it was also the monster's field where the girl had been killed. Upon hearing that there was a monster involved, Jack immediately ran to the herb field, intending to kill the monster. However, when Jack smelled Mike's scent, he found no trace of blood or anything dangerous. Jack didn't want to kill an innocent monster. Just then, the villagers picked up stones and began throwing them at Mike. Mike's eyes turned red, and Jack thought he was about to attack. But instead, Mike just cried as he ran back to his mother. When Mike's mother heard his cries, she ran out holding a piece of wood and struck Jack on the head. The villagers were frightened and quickly fled. Mike's mother then declared that her child would never harm anyone or eat people. The villagers had been bullying him simply because he was a half-monster. When Jack heard the term half-monster, he was shocked. He realized that Mike and his mother were in a similar situation to his own. So, Jack and Mary entered Mike's home, where Mike's mother told them their story. They had always been very pitiful. Mike's father was a monster, and his mother was a human, which made him a half-monster. Mike had suffered even more than Jack because, as a half-monster, he was always bullied by the villagers. There had been several instances where the villagers almost killed him. Mike even started blaming himself. He felt that his birth was the reason his mother had always been insulted. He constantly apologized to his mother, believing that she was being bullied because of him. His mother was furious that Mike thought like this. She told him they had done nothing wrong. Jack and Mary were moved by the story and wanted to help Mike by mediating the conflict between him and the villagers. However, Mike's mother didn't want to trouble Jack and Mary. She gave them some medicinal herbs to treat the villagers' injuries and urged them to leave quickly. On the way back, Jack and Mary saw the villagers gathering weapons. The villagers were planning to kill Mike. Mary tried to persuade them not to do so, but the villagers still believed that Mike was the one who killed the girl. Jack promised the villagers that he would catch the real killer, but in the meantime, they should not harm Mike or his mother. The villagers agreed, and Jack immediately set off. He followed the scent of the dead girl and tracked it to a monster's lair. However, by the time he arrived, it was too late. The mother monster had already taken her young and was starting to hunt humans. Jack also realized that Mary was in danger. Meanwhile, the villagers had waited all day for news from Jack, but when they didn't hear from him, they took up their weapons and headed toward Mike's house. They threw stones at Mike.